Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix family? Bob here. Hey guys, coming to you guys. This is a tough video, and I'm gonna have to be careful how I talk about this, obviously, on this platform. I just been doing some research into stuff, and then just got done listening to a video talking about Havana syndrome, and that actually led into talks about the particulates of a nano size that they're finding in pretty much everybody right now, even those that didn't take the Jabberoo. So it's really diabolical, folks, what's going on here. And we're going to get into it here. It's hard to talk about because, look, those of us that didn't fall for the propaganda, those of us that didn't take the jabbies when we were coerced by family, the government, businesses, you know, even churches and such to take it, right? Those of us that didn't. I mean, now obviously those that did and then kept on boosting it, they got it a lot worse. But we've all, through transinfection, gotten it, you know, from all the others. Our kid, you know, those of us that didn't let our kids take it for school or anything, well, they were still around all the kids that did. And I know what they're setting us up for, and I've been talking about it. The true meaning of the beast system in Revelation, the mark of the beast and such, right? Done many videos on that, folks. Go back and check those out. And basically, we're talking about the same thing today. It's just in some other details of the process of what they're doing. Well, what's unfortunate about this is the video I was watching was a scientist and a doctor that have been helping people that have been suffering with Havana sickness or Havana syndrome. Those of you that don't know what that is, well, it started out with a lot of U.S. diplomats that I believe were actually located in Cuba, probably on our base there. And they were hearing voices. They were, you know, having all these issues going on that they couldn't explain. And, you know, they were getting sick. And, like I said, hearing voices and other stuff. And so all these, you know, these military doctors and everything couldn't figure out what they had. It was like a mystery. Well, there's some, like I said, the scientists and this doctor that I listened to on the video, they work with people that have this, and what they're finding is that it's that they don't have some kind of a disease or virus or something, that they were implanted with some kind of nanoparticulate chips. And they found this out by they put them in Faraday cages. And as soon as they did that, the voices went away, the sickness lessened quite a bit, and they were also able to, with these wands that pick up RF frequencies, radio frequencies, they could scan the body with them, and they were picking up radio frequencies coming from the body. Well, how would this happen? Well, obviously this would happen if they have some kind of electrical devices in them. You guys all heard, right, about the first wave of people that were passing from the Vidi, you know, the Con Vidi. How you could go into cemeteries, and you could probably still do it to this day, and you could pick up MAC addresses, like Wi-Fi signals from people's bodies. And this was, I watched videos of people going live doing this, like from the bodies in the ground. And of course, this has all been highly censored on these platforms. I don't know if they've let up off this. I guess we'll find out if this video goes through or not. I'm trying to be as vague as I can, folks. Look, I'd like to just talk in plain English and explain down to detail, but we got to just play a little bit of wordsmithing here, okay? So just understand that. Look, I'm doing that so that we can try to get this out. But they had these people in Faraday cages, and they were able to pinpoint these things within their bodies, okay? These frequencies. So, but once they were in the Faraday cage, they were cut off outside signals, right? Nothing could come in and activate these things or send information. So, this is my theory, folks, and I could be wrong, but I honestly think because it was offshores that the Gov was experimenting on U.S. citizens, diplomats and such, probably soldiers over there in Guantanamo or, and they were beta testing these technologies on them, implanting them, probably putting it in the water or something on the base or in the food, who knows, in the medications. And then they were using these frequencies to see if they could manipulate these people, like to see, if these devices would work from outside signals. And these people are like losing their minds because they think that they're going crazy, right? I mean, they feel sick. It's almost like a radiation sickness or something, like where you're always like lethargic and exhausted, and and then they're hearing like voices in their head or sounds in their head or weird electrical. They're getting like these weird electrical like shocks in their body. I mean, I kid you not, folks. Like literally electrical shocks in their body. That look up Havana syndrome, and you'll see what I mean. And so now these doctors and scientists that are working with these people, they're starting to pinpoint the fact that and look, we've all known this, but this is just, we're adding on to the proof here, okay? That these are some kind of devices, electrical, and it seems as if what happens is they use the body's electricity to power themselves, and they're able to replicate and build antenna, data points, like the way to receive data and probably send data. I've told you guys, the mark of the beast was never a choice. All you Christians still falling for the lies, don't you understand? Revelation was a playbook, okay? Do you know how many times Revelation was taken out of the Bible, put in the Bible, taken out, put in the Bible? It was written way later. And a lot of people believe it was a type of Hermetic writing or a Gnostic writing. Doesn't even go in line with the New Testament. Yeah, it touches base on a lot of the points. Well, yeah, because folks, these plans have been in place for thousands of years. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's not a revelation. No pun intended. That they've been planning this out for a long time. For the eventual technology that they could take over humanity and control humanity like automatons. And the beast, I've explained to you guys, the beast is not Lucifer, Satan, or some kind of, world system. I mean, per se it is, but the beast is the body, the number of a man, 666. Well, that's a human body, folks, okay? It's trying to tell you. This is about the human body, okay? That's the beast. The 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, and 6 protons. The carbon-based human body. And you want to take it further, well, it's the lower dimensional self. It's the third dimensional avatar. It's the vessel, okay? It's not the consciousness. It's not the person. That's what I need people to understand this, okay? Because people, like, religion makes people think they're the body, and they're trying to achieve, like, a spirit form, or trying to achieve, like, life in heaven or whatever, like, go to hell or go to heaven. That's all a psyop, folks. You've all been lied to. We've been on earth many, many, many times. Okay? And I'm not talking about like the Hindu type of reincarnation, but we have reincarnated on the earth many times. Okay? The body is the beast form. It's the lower dimensional, it's the carnal, animalistic self. It's the body that was created out of the elements and out of the various animal blueprints off the earth. The body contains all of the elements of the earth, wind, fire, water, and such, right? And the body also contains elements of your major species blueprints on the earth, right? The mammalian, the reptilian, even aviary, bird. We have parts of all, even fish, amphibious. We have parts of all of the major blueprints genetically integrated into our bodies. The body is the carnal beast. Okay? It's the beast. The beast system in Revelation is about the takeover of the beast from the consciousness, the higher self, the spirit. It's to try to separate or to enslave the consciousness into a body that's controlled by a power outside of itself. Because, folks, the brain is just a receiver. It's an operating system. The brain does not produce consciousness. And modern academia knows this, but they lie because they don't want you to understand that you are a conscious energy that's incarnated in a human form. They want you to believe that you are the body, you are the carnal form, and that your consciousness comes from a brain. It's a lie, folks. Okay? The brain is the operating system. And what you're having take place right now is that they're devising these particulates, right, to embed itself in the carnal, the beast body, the 666, so that they can take over control of the operating system from the conscious energy, to cut off the connection point, the frequency between the brain and the consciousness, the higher self, the higher dimensional self, your true self. See, you're not a body, folks, okay? You're just using a body. You're temporarily immersed in a body, your consciousness is, so that you can experience this third dimension, this construct, this lower dimension. And when you immerse yourself in the human body is created in the third dimension, in this lower dimension, this carnal world of survival and duality, and you take on the struggles of that. That's what the whole in the Bible, where it says you're born into sin. Well, yeah, when you're born into a human body, when you incarnate into a human body, you take on the flesh, which is corrupt, like it says in the Bible. Yes, because it's the lower dimensional form. It's an animalistic form. It's not your true self. And your spirit struggles with the carnal self, with the animalistic survival duality aspects of this realm, with the lusts of the flesh. Okay? That's why Yeshua taught deny the flesh. Because the flesh leads you to animalistic desires. Okay? But Yeshua also understood that we are not bodies. Okay? That's why the whole hell judgment thing is bullshit. Because your whole spirit isn't even immersed in your body, okay, folks? You're fractalized right now, your consciousness. Part of your consciousness is in a higher realm still. Only part of your consciousness is immersed into this realm. You know that voice you hear that you think is your guardian angel and all that? Well, that's your higher self, folks. What you call a guardian angel, what you could call, whatever, God or Jesus in your head, right? Trying to tell you to do good. That's your higher self, folks. That's you. From a higher dimensional perspective, trying to give you advice and direction. But your fractalized consciousness that is immersed in this body, it struggles with the flesh because the flesh is always trying to push it into fleshly desires and needs, survival, animalistic instincts, right? Duality, light and dark. So it's a constant struggle, and a lot of times that other voice you hear, that urge you have to push you into doing negative things, that is the body. That's the beast. Folks, that's the beast. Don't you get it? We are all the Son of God, and we are all the Son of Man when you take on the body. Okay? This man of perdition, this 666 man is Antichrist, that everybody thinks is going to be some dude that's born from Lucifer that's going to show up and lead the world. Folks, don't you get it? That is the body it's talking about, and that's a struggle we are all experiencing when you come onto earth. It's part of the game. Okay? We are all going through that battle because it's a battle between light and dark, between the lower dimension and the higher dimension. Okay? It's not about an Antichrist character. Now, the Antichrist, why do you think it's called the Antichrist? Well, that means Antichrist consciousness, folks. Okay? Christos, the Christ, I hope you guys understand that Yeshua was not the only Christ that was ever foretold or talked about in ancient times, okay? The Christ is talking about the higher self. It's the Christ consciousness. So the Antichrist is this animalistic beast system designed against the Christ consciousness. See, there was never any choice, though, in taking the mark, right? Because they're putting the mark in your body whether you want it or not. And how are they doing that? Well, it's in our water, it's in our medicine, it's in everything now. Now people are shedding it onto others. If you go have a, course, right, with a woman that got the jibbies, well, guess what you're going to get in your body? You're going to get a nice, fresh injection of that in your body, okay? Or vice versa, if you're the woman and you never took it, but the guy did. You guys got to understand, if you're single right now, I'd be checking, trust me. I'd be asking, hey, did you take this? I want to know. Well, what do you mean? Well, it matters, okay? I mean, I hope you guys understand this. It's pretty simple to understand, right? That obviously these nanoparticulates can move. They're so minuscule that they can move through body fluids, through blood, through other fluids of the body, right? It's not that hard to figure out. And then they get set up in the body and they start replicating. And they use the body's own energy in the cells as a power source, as a battery. Remember in the Matrix? When Morpheus is holding up the battery, he says this is what they turn humans into. A battery. Folks, it's all happening right now. I hate to tell you. Trust me, this just makes me sick to my stomach. And in a way, I hate to feel this way, but I feel hopeless in a little way. I mean, yeah, there's all these people hawking products. This will get it out. This will get it out. But the thing is, they're putting it in everything right now. Folks, you don't think they were putting this in the animals too, our meat? Even in our other products? Trust me, I don't even want to name the products right now that they were talking about in the video because it's so just disappointing that they've done it in a way, folks, that none of us can get away from it. And I tell you, the next step, what are they calling the next internet, folks? 6G. What are they calling it? The Internet of Bodies. Right? And yes, it's also called the Internet of Everything or Everywhere sometimes too. And why is that? Well, because they've been spraying the particulates all over the earth, covering it in data points. If these little things can replicate in a human body, you don't think they can replicate in animals and in live, like plants and stuff and trees? Of course they can. They're gonna build they're covering their whole earth with these particulates so that they have data points everywhere. They can essentially build a virtual model of the whole earth with these data points and track every living thing on earth. That's what they're doing, folks. Okay? And they call it the Internet of Bodies. Why? Well, because they're already putting the data points in all of our bodies so that when this goes live, they have access to your bodies. You have to understand something, folks. See, they think that they can do this stuff to us because we don't own our bodies in their mind. They believe, because you got to understand, a lot of the people behind the scenes, folks, are the bloodlines of the Anunnaki. I've told you this before. Of these Elohim, these shining ones. It's their bloodlines that are still ruling. Now, are the Anunnaki themselves still ruling from the shadows? I don't know. Possibly. Are they still on Earth? I don't know. More than likely, right? The Watchers, they're probably still here. You know, all these plasma ships that fly around in our Navy and our Air Force, you know, don't even have like a spitball's chance in hell of like, like keeping up with these things. They're probably still here. But look, folks, the way they see it is that they created the human body. And yes, folks, it was not the creator of all God. The body was not made in God's image, folks. It says in the Bible even, created in the image of the Elohim. The Elohim is the gods. The little g gods, folks. You've all been lied to. Your Bible tells you, but you choose not to even believe your own book, right? No, that's the Trinity, man. Don't you understand, folks? When your pastor tells you that, he's lying to you. Either he's lying to you because he's purposely lying to you, or else because he's ignorant too. And because he's just reading bullshit that the World Council of Churches is putting in front of his face to read and to preach. Okay? You've all been lied to, man. I've told you this many times. Trust me. I have too. I'm not saying I'm not part of this. I'm just trying to wake us all up, folks. I'm waking myself up. I'm trying to wake others up. But they think because they created the human form, the human avatar, that just because we're using it, like, right, that it doesn't matter. They still feel, because they own this world, they rule this world, that anything in this world is theirs, including our bodies. So to them, they don't have a moral dilemma over doing this to us, because they just see that these are the bodies they created, they fashioned from the earth, from the elements of the earth, and then they allowed spirits to come experience this realm in these bodies. But we're not the bodies, we're just the consciousness, immersed in these bodies. So they feel that they own the bodies. They can do what they want with them. It's and these beings that have been ruling in this realm for a long time, these archons, they become dark. They've been here too long. They've been away from the source, the energy, the light of the creator for so long that they feel better in just ruling this realm and not going back to the light. So they figured out how to stay here and rule here. And we're just on a trip here. We're experiencing this here, okay? And yes, they feed off of our source energy, of course. That's why they entice us to come to this realm. Folks, I got to teach you something that you're going to really hate if you're a Christian hearing this. And you're going to deny it and probably, whatever. We are the fallen angels. Don't you get it? We left our higher estate to come experience this lower dimension. Okay? I know this is hard to understand, but we are the fallen angels, folks. Okay? When you come incarnate on earth, you're taking on the beast body, the carnal self, the lower dimensional self. You're not the body, but you are temporarily using it as a vessel for your consciousness, your spirit, to experience this realm. And when you do that, folks, guess what? You're playing by the rules of this realm, that these archons rule, that the demiurge, The one you all call Yahweh, the Father. He's the demiurge of this realm. He's the ruler of this realm. He's not a good guy. I mean, these Christians are just unbelievable, man. I mean, of course, though, Yahweh's children, they understand what all this is. Why do you think they rule the world how they rule it? Like they own it. Because they do. Because their Father does. Right? Remember Yeshua telling the Pharisees and Sadducees, your father was a liar and a murderer from the beginning? Well, yeah, the demiurge does what he likes in this realm, folks, okay? He's a jealous God, right? He's a murderous war god, warlord God. I mean, it tells you in the Bible, bro. I'm not telling you guys anything you shouldn't know if you're a supposed Christian, right? But see, you've all been tricked. You don't understand the game. Because religion is part of the deception. It gives you truth, but it doesn't give you total truth. And when all you do is believe 100% in what your pastor tells you, what your religion tells you, well, guess what? You're being deceived. And you're not getting truth. You're getting partial truth. That's it. Just like Revelation. You know, people all waiting for some guy to show up and rule the world. No. The Antichrist, the actual, like, God that they're bringing in is going to be the AI super quantum computer system that they're all in a race for to create right now. That, yes, Trump is investing billions to get created. That his buddy Larry Fink and all these guys are pushing on this, and Elon Musk and all of them. They're all in a race, and the Chinese are too. They're all in a race to build this overmind, this new God. Just in time for 6G, folks, with all these data point antennas, these receptors in our bodies, that when it goes live, all of a sudden, boom, like a light switch, now they control your body, your mind. Not your consciousness, just your brain. And they'll be, oh, trust me, this God will be able to, you'll hear it talking to you. I mean, just like we're talking right now. It's going to play the part of God. It's scary, folks. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it anymore, to be honest. It's very upsetting to me. I guess the biggest, we'll pick this back up, folks. We got to go into this more. I hate to leave you guys on a cliffhanger and leave you at a really negative point here. But I need you guys to understand, man, that this is not a game. This is not a choice. That it's being forced on all of us against our wills. And, you know, they believe they own our bodies. They believe they own everything on earth, and that the body, we are not the bodies. It's just a vessel that we're using. And it is true. If you do research into NDEs, look, the body is, this is not us, okay, folks? No matter what they try to tell you, you are not the body, okay? That is a lie in itself. They tell you that because they disempower you. See, religions and governments and all that, they want you to believe you're the body and that, you know, that you're trying to attain something better. They don't want to tell you the truth that you're already a perfect, immortal being, a conscious creator that's a fractal of the Godhead, of the source of all creation. And that they do use that, they siphon your energy while you're in this realm. That's the trade-off. You give your energy to come here, and you get to experience life in a different, different realm, a lower realm. You get to experience duality, the carnal, animalistic form. That's the trade-off, but they feed off our energy. There's a price, folks, for everything. You ever wonder why you're born a debt slave here on earth? Why you got to work and pay bills to live on the earth? Because they own the earth. Don't you get it? Now they own your body too. The day you're born, your body is on your social security card. There you have a stock exchange number on the back of it. You are a stock. You're a collateral on the debt of your nation. And when they take your footprint, it's symbolic. It's word magic. They take the soul of your foot, right? Your soul, and they put it on a contract, your birth certificate. They put your soul on contract. As soon as your foot hits the earth now, you're contracted. Okay? You're under a contract. They own your soul. At least they believe while you're here on earth, they do, right? Folks, we are the fallen angels. Don't you get it? All your talk about hell, purgatory, and all that, it's this place, folks, this realm. Okay? This is it was very harsh when I finally started realizing this. Because, look, you all want to think angels are something else. You want to think, well, you know, these so-called angels, guardian angels, well, like I said, it's your higher self or it's other spirits from a higher realm trying to help you. But we are one of those. We are the sons and daughters of God, the true God, not the God of this realm, the demiurge. Now, the body is enslaved to this world, okay? It's obvious. None of you can tell me that you're not a slave in this world, okay? I don't care if you own your own business, if you work for somebody, you work for the government, whatever. You're a slave, okay? Even if you own your own business, you're a slave to that job. Trust me. You don't bring in new job offers or contracts, and guess what? Your business goes under. And you're probably working 80 to 100 hours a week trying to keep your business going. So it don't really matter like who you're working for, whatever, but you have to work to survive on the earth because why? Well, because this is look, folks, we are in our spirit form, we can manifest instantly. We don't need to work. In the higher realms, you don't work. You can build whatever you want with the power of your pure consciousness, of your, pure manifestation abilities. It's earth where you are a slave and you're worked like a slave. Go read the Atrahasis, folks. I've told you many times, read that tablet. It explains how the Anunnaki, the Anuna, the Elohim, how they created the human body, hybridized the human body from a ancient hominid that was already walking the earth to be a worker, slave class. They're servants, okay? To relieve the labors of the Igigi, their working class Anunnaki. The human body was always designed to be a working slave class, folks. Nothing has changed. Look at how we're treated by the ruling Elites, right? Listen how they talk about us at the WEF and these other places. They don't talk about us like we're sovereign entities. They talk about us like we're human resources. Oh, that's what they call you at work, right? A human resource. Yeah. Less than a spirit, right? You're just a human resource. You're like a product of the business, right? Or whatever. So I'm just telling you guys, look, it's a harsh truth. But your true self, your higher self, is an immortal spirit, an immortal fractal of God, of the grand consciousness, the source, whatever you want to call it, of the universe. So look, folks, we're just here for a short time experiencing this. But if we want to make this a realm worth coming and experiencing in the future, we probably need to get our acts together and start waking up to what the hell is going on and who the hell we are. So we'll pick this one back up, folks. I know this one's going to be harsh on a lot of people because they just don't understand. They don't understand much, okay? They've been programmed, and you can't blame people. From the day you're born, you start getting programmed by others, by systems, right? By governments, educations, like religions. So, yeah, it's hard to break out of all that. Luckily, I was, kind of raised in a family that was pretty open-minded and didn't force me into the strictures of religions and stuff. So I was able to not get as programmed as a lot of people my age were when I was younger, and most people are completely programmed. I mean, you watch most people around you, that even people and you work with, they're totally programmed individuals. They cannot think outside the box. They have just a small perimeter of how they think and operate in, and that's it. And they stay within that box. So people like us freak them out because they think we're weirdos and freaks and stupid, and they don't understand that they're actually the ignorant and ridiculous ones. But it's perspective, I guess, right? So anyways, guys, hey, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.